My dad was a general manager at Subway, and then he scraped his leg on the safe. Like the safe was like quite literally unsafe. And then after he cut his leg got worse. It was like a chain reaction, I believe. Like his veins wasn't really moving how they were supposed to, and it ended up swapping legs. And they said that he voluntarily terminated himself because he was not able to come to work.
Injured on the job and then fired because you had to get medical care. The next caller is concerned about his dad and wants to know what his rights are. Let's talk to him. What legal issue do you want to talk about with us today?
What's going on, man? It's great to be here. My dad had a legal battle, or is currently in a legal battle that I don't understand, and I would just like to help, as any son would.
For sure.
My dad was a general manager at Subway.
Okay.
And then he cut his leg on a safe. And then after he cut his leg got worse. Like when I mean worse, I mean like it was past the cut. He had something wrong with his veins past that. So he was in and out. He was bobbing in and out of like surgery and just bobbing in and out of the hospital in general. And then they deemed that his case he was trying to get workers' comp or something like that.
Okay.
And they said that he wasn't able to get workers' comp because it was past work. He had past.
Where did I got a couple questions for you. I'm sorry this happened. Where did this happen?
This happened in Orlando, Florida.
Okay. And when you say Subway, you mean like the sandwich shop?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know if it was a franchise or a corporate location?
It was a franchise.
And do you know anything about the franchise owner?
I do actually. Which is kind of crazy is his last name is like.
Are there multiple franchises that he owns? Does he own like 10 Subways, 20 Subways, one?
He owns multiple.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how much, but I'm pretty positive it's over 10.
That's usually how it goes. Okay. And your dad was doing what with a safe when he got hurt?
Just regular, just money jobs. You know what I'm saying? He was like maybe I'm not too sure 100%, but I know that he was like, we'll say he was counting the money, and then he scraped his leg on the safe. Like the safe was like quite literally unsafe. Like it had like a metal fringe that was like.
That was good.
Who's the
that
comedian?
was good.
Who's the comedian here?
But yeah, he cut his leg on the safe. But that was the first instance of what was going downhill.
So did he go to the hospital? How bad was his cut?
The cut was bad, but then it was like a chain reaction, I believe. Like it started some other problems that was going on with his leg. When I say problems, I mean like in his veins. Like his veins wasn't really moving how they were supposed to. They weren't carrying like blood flow properly. So then his leg was swelled up, and then he couldn't really stand on his leg, which made him unable to work. And then that problem was 2022. Fast forward to 2023, and around like August, it got worse again, and it ended up swapping legs. It went from his left leg to his right leg. I'm not too sure which leg it swapped to.
Is it an infection?
But nobody really knows what it was. Nobody at that point in time could understand or help my dad. They didn't really know what was wrong with him medically.
Was it called an embolism?
It was not.
Okay.
It was not.
Okay.
They thought that he had, I'm going to mess his name up, but they thought he had calcifix Lasix or something like that, which is basically a calcium buildup in the vein, which blocks blood flow.
Yeah.
But that turned out not to be the case, because only when you have that is when you have kidney problems. And my dad does not have kidney problems.
Okay.
So this is what I mean of they're just basically just saying, oh, you have this, you have that.
So
they'll give him medicine,
your
and then he gets no better.
your dad has been getting medical treatment for these different things. Who's been paying for it over the last year and a half, 2 years?
It was funded through Subway. He did have insurance through Subway at that point of time.
Okay.
But where it gets weird is when it swapped legs, when it went from his left leg to his right leg, he was in surgery. I think he had 4 different surgeries, and he wasn't working for, I want to say 4 months, maybe 4 or 5 months. And then he had a call after one of his surgeries in November, on November 26th. He had a surgery, and then he called his boss. He was like, yeah, I'm doing okay. Just like a regular checkup. And then on the 28th of November is when they said that he voluntarily terminated himself because he was not able to come to work, which I find is a little weird, because they had a full conversation 2 days before, and nobody mentioned anything about my dad having to come to work within 2 days.
Yeah.
And then nobody even tells him. He just gets an email.
Well, first of all, let me make sure I understand. You mentioned earlier on that your dad is dealing with some lawyers on this right now. Tell us what's going on with the legal side of what your dad is dealing with.
These are the parts that like I just hear conversations like while he's on the phone. I don't really like ask that much because I never really get like straightforward answers. So when from what I've heard is that he has, I think, two different lawyers from like two different places who were trying to work with him on this case, and I don't really understand why he was doing that. Which is why I'm kind of reaching out to y'all because I'm like, yo, like if you don't understand what you're doing, all right, I'm gonna find something or somebody who's going to be able to like help us.
Is your dad like an immigrant that might have a fear of? I mean, is your dad an immigrant, like first generation?
No, not at
Okay.
all, not at all.
Okay, so I
Um,
mean, we'll talk to you about it broadly, right? This is kind of more your dad's issue than you. Although I want to say, really good son. Like I'm proud of you for
Yeah.
calling and trying to get help. I think what we'll do is we'll talk to you kind of generally about the stuff that you should be looking for, and then this is stuff that you could talk with your dad about.
Yeah.
Bill, I'll let you.
Sure.
Start.
So there's a lot of attorneys, and a lot of them don't know what they're doing, and that may be that they know one area but they don't know another, or they know they do workers' compensation on the job injury cases, but they've only done Quiznos cases, and they've never done a subway case, and they don't really know what they're doing, right? So
Right.
that's a little facetious, but that can be the case. And so one of the things we're going to do is send you a couple names of some other lawyers to at least have a consult with to see if maybe these folks are doing it wrong. We frequently get calls, Josh and I, from folks who are like, I'm working with this lawyer, and I'm like, I don't know, it's just not adding up, right? This doesn't seem to be working, and it happens to be that's just not the right person. For example, there's some very basic protections. Florida has a Civil Rights Act. There's also the Americans with Disabilities Act that provides protections for people who have a disability, and it sounds like your father may qualify for that. But more importantly, Florida has a statute that says you can't be fired while you're off work from an on-the-job injury.
What?
So the fact that they're like, oh, hey, he's not there, he's not happening, and it's years later, maybe there was a communication issue, but I really doubt it, right? Here's the other part. A lot of the folks who are making these decisions at the franchisee level, I have represented franchises. I have been on the other side representing employees. And I got to tell you, 50-50, their HR person, if they even have one, probably has no idea what they're talking about regarding these issues because it's probably never come up. Right? They may be awesome at onboarding and awesome at throwing parties and getting the pizza for the party because nobody's eating Subway. And so, they're just not knowing what they're going to do, and they're going to do their best thing. And then the boss goes, dude, this guy's not here. He hasn't showed up. Fire his ass. Right. And then now they've stepped into a legal quagmire. So these are some of the things that we'll send you as resources afterwards that you can talk to your dad and go, Dad, have you talked to your lawyers about these issues? Right. What's happening? Because now this may have gone from a negligence injury case to a wrongful termination case, right? And all the while, your dad is still dealing with this issue. So I'm glad his medical's getting taken care of. But we all know you could pay everyone's medical bills, but we don't eat medical bills, right? So that's just my off the cuff take.
So again, well, first off, any thoughts so far on what you're hearing?
G baby, how you feeling about this one?
I think this is terrible.
Honestly,
oh, go ahead.
I was asking G baby. My bad, Sam.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just. All I got was a lawyer for each leg. Is that what happened? 2 lawyers? Is that what,
maybe we're not sure.
I don't know. And then I'm just very simple. Like, did he at least get a handicap placard from this? Can he park closer?
Does he have a handicap card?
No.
Oh no, that's just they're just lowballing him the whole way.
You need a third lawyer for the handicap plaque.
Yeah.
I
feel like I didn't say, or I feel like I didn't really fully explain to you guys everything.
Tell us.
So I'm pretty sure that my dad filed a lawsuit for wrongful termination, right? And then this is where I don't understand why he's talking to 2 different lawyers. I'm like, well, if you're already filing a lawsuit, what's going on here?
He could have a personal injury lawyer, and he could have a wrongful terminator or employment discrimination.
I see. From what I understand, and from what I heard from my dad, is that that the Posca or that enterprise or that franchise offered to settle.
Yeah.
And
what I want to walk you through is these are kind of the things that you should consider broadly when these things happen. So these will apply to your dad, or you can kind of help your dad with a checklist, but also the people that are listening at home. And if you've been hurt on the job and your employer's not treating you right, hit us up. Love to have you on the show. We'd love to talk to you. Love to give you some help. So the first thing you want to do is you want to understand what your injury is, right? So because it's not you, it's your dad, you're not really sure what his injury is, but you can't even really start to say, hey, we're willing to settle for this, or this is what we deserve, if you don't understand what the injury is. So you want to make sure that your dad, his doctors, and even his lawyers understand the nature of the injury and what the long-term complications of that are going to be, because you have to really do that before you start talking numbers. The next thing you want to do is you want to be able to prove that it was a workplace-related injury. And so getting cut on a safe, that's at the workplace. The question is, was your dad dancing? Was your dad drunk? Was he just performing his normal functions?
I don't think any of those are a question. I think this man was attacked violently by a safe.
Unsafe.
The unsafe. The worst product on the market, the unsafe.
Wow.
What if here's a real question. What if Subway is specifically buying unsafes because if they ever get robbed, then they're tax safes where you try to spring-loaded trap safes.
Ooh, but no one's
But
going to
they
rob
would have
Subway.
to
They don't sell any.
train him to do it, yeah. And who's going to go that far for $5 footlongs? Like,
Right.
it's so indecent this is happening.
Are they still
to him.
$5? No one's gone to a Subway.
No,
They're still $5, but they're not. No, I don't know. I have no idea. So this is all very practical. Like the advice about some of these topics more generally, and in the case here for you, Sam. I mean, the issue is your dad's got to understand these topics and talk to his doctors, make sure everything's getting taken care of, and you probably need to get a little bit more involved and insist like, hey, I want to get involved. I want to answer some of these basic questions, make sure it's getting done. Maybe your dad has a total grip on it and it's totally fine. Yeah. That's why he has these two lawyers, right? Because a lot of times we have people call in, they don't have any lawyers, and they're like, well, I don't have any evidence. And we're like, actually, you have a lot of evidence, and you definitely were fucked, and you definitely need to file a lawsuit, right? So,
yeah.
Samwise, we are going to get you some of that contact info if you want to share it with your dad of reputable attorneys that could help you with this. Do you feel like you got heard today? You're able to talk through it, get a little bit of answers?
Yeah, man. I definitely got some comedic relief out of it as well. I'm glad I reached out. I was a little skeptical at first. I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this, but I'm glad I reached out. I got definitely some answers that I needed.
You're a good son.
Yeah, we can definitely tell that.
Thank
dude. I hope that I have a son that's half as good as you one day.
Oh man, I appreciate that, man. Hey, is this the John that plays basketball?
This is the same Josh. This is the Hooper Josh. This is the Hooper Josh. Yeah.
Oh.
I stay strapped in the law and on the court.
Nah, we bro, stick to law, man.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for this caller. No, but seriously, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling, Sam.
Yes, of course. Thank you again.
Bye.
G baby, what you think about that one?
That was funny. I was wondering if his dad had been injured before.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good question.
I was wondering, had your dad been injured before? I know this is too late for it, but
no, but you ask that one next time. But
was your dad injured before? And there could be a reason why he's not letting you in on stuff. For one, he might be playing some game that you're not aware of.
Right.
And then you would call and publicly talk about his case in front of people.
Right.
And I asked the question, was he injured before? And then he's like, yeah.
I also wonder, right, if it's like, okay, it was like, oh my God, you're such a good son, right? Because this guy talked about my basketball, so now it's like, okay.
Yeah, you're bad.
Now you don't even care.
Now the gloves are off, okay?
Right.
Samwise,
You don't have gloves in
we're over here,
right?
we're like, what a great son, okay? And it's like, in reality, his dad's about to die, and he's just like, how big is his inheritance going to be?
Yeah,
because I'm just trying to figure out, like, you know,
look, I'm a big Sam
he
fan
ain't telling
here.
me how much it's worth. No, he sounds like a good guy.
I think Sam is trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, so many folks who don't know what they don't know, you're going to get parents who think they're doing the right thing and they're wrong. My mom got in a car accident and she thought, oh, I'm going to just, it'll be fine. Like, I'm going to talk to the insurance and da-da-da-da-da. And it went sideways.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not good.
If you have a crazy legal story and you want to talk to some lawyers anonymously, for free, call us.
Wait, we're not getting paid?
Nothing at all. I don't know how we're going to pay for it, to be honest.